I feel like a big thing with confidence is you can fake it till you make it, but also faking it comes with actually gaining confidence. And with gaining confidence, I feel like it's big with self-love. You have to focus on yourself and work on yourself.
Doing this first episode, get to the first under the umbrella of Traumaless. How you feeling today? We bought our guests on. We take over. We bought our guests on the way we go about doing things on the podcast. Alright. So today we're gonna be talking about childhood trauma. So I would like to start off.
You will know, but a lot of people, they like to be delusional about it and not know.
Welcome for a super special episode of I am back with y'all wonderful, illustrious hosts, Ashley Sierra Whiteside, and I have some new friends, some old friends, some homies, some lovers up in the space to be today. I'm super excited for this episode. This episode is really going to be talking about what it means to perceive the mind of a woman, right? When Pat came to me with the idea of the episode and really asking, well, we want to know what's going on in your perspective and from where you all sit and see the world, right? Because they can only perceive from their perception about what we say and what we do. And as we see in the social media world and zeitgeist, there's a lot that people say about Black women that Black women have to say about each other. So we're here to set the record straight for our stories, always recognizing and understanding that our experiences are not a monolith, understanding and recognizing that we are 4 beautiful humans who gathered here today. Hallelujah. to have this conversation, and there are millions and millions and millions of more perspectives, experiences that are available. So we are here to just tell our story. So I would love for each of y'all to give a brief intro of your name. Tell us who you are and what you are bringing, like what part of you are you bringing into the space today?
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Precious Diamond B. I am a celestial being. I am a human. A human that has decided to be on Earth for this time period. I'm an artist, an arts administrator, a community organizer, an herbalist, a hoodoo witch, on my off times, and a lover of Earth. Yeah.
Thank you. We just gonna go down the couch. Y'all both introduce yourself.
I'm Latoya. A lot of people know me by Bridget. I don't know what to say. I mean, just following her. I am here and I'm happy to be here. And that's where I'm at right now.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Ashley Sewell. My husband's a cameraman over here. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a sister, I'm a friend, I'm just an all-around dope queen, so I'm here. So we are gonna do a mental tap-in really quick and just taking a moment to take a deep breath and grounding here in this space. Leaving whatever was before this, and whatever is after this, just taking a moment and asking yourself first and foremost, how are you feeling today? And if you are willing to share, I would love for each of you to share. I'll reverse it this time. Ashley, how are you feeling today?
Today I am feeling grateful. Do I need to elaborate? Can I elaborate?
If you would like to.
I'm grateful. Today I get to spend some quality time with my husband because we have somebody to watch the children. So we don't get that many times. So I am feeling really grateful for that moment to spend with my husband and connect. So.
Keeping it down.
I'll say today I'm just in like great spirits. Things are just going well. My kids are happy, and I mean, everybody, we ain't struggling right now. Like, we're just all in just a good, happy space right now. So, just kind of in good spirits today.
How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling light. Yeah. Before I got here, I was in yoga. My yoga teacher yelled at me because I hadn't been in yoga in like 4 weeks. But the theme of the day was releasing anger. And it can be a useful emotion, but it is an emotion that can really tie up the body. And so today we did a lot of exercises in releasing anger. So I felt really light after, like, yeah, there were things like pent up in my body I didn't even realize this morning. So yeah, I'm feeling good.
I'm feeling rejuvenated. As I let you beautiful people know, I just got back from retreat. And so I spent the week away in a space of deep rest and reflection. And so I feel very adequately resourced. I was a little sleepy because my flight got in late. So if you see me take a sip of some caffeine, please know I need it. I definitely need it today, but I'm feeling very, very grateful and resourced. So the idea of this episode really is to just have a space where we can reflect on our own experiences, how we're feeling, what we want to share with the people about our own perception and stories. And so part of this is really asking, for folks that love on Black women, that are in community with other Black women, to give them a little bit more insight outside of maybe what the greater social media streets, whatever is sensationalized, has to be said or pushed about us, right? So I'm curious for you all, when I talk about like the inner life of a Black woman, what does that actually look like beyond your stereotypes or the things that people place on you or the roles that you have or the things that you do for other people? What does your inner world look like in this season of life?
Anybody?
I can go first, break the ice. So this actually came up at work. I had gone to this conference, Black Feminist Futures Get Free Reunion in New Orleans, and the last session was about how we can align our work and our community organizing to the seasons of the earth. So what would it look like if you had a whole year of winter, a whole year of fall, and how oftentimes the byproduct of capitalism is to always be in summer, which means production, which means marathon, which means creating, which means go fast. That's what causes burnout. And so the facilitator said, think about what season of life you're in now, but what season of life that you want to be in right now. And as I was reflecting on it, I was like, I think I'm in spring. And spring is experimentation. It's trying. It's being willing to make mistakes. It's willing to, do things that scare you. And so it's really forward energy, but it's not necessarily burnout. It's just like, let me just choose a few things and see what blossoms. And I'm choosing things with intention because I've had a year of winter and planting the seeds and waiting for them to grow. And so my inner life right now feels like a field of flowers just blooming. And so like even at yoga today, someone teaches a hula hooping class. And I was like, I haven't done that since I was a kid. Let's just do that. Like now that I'm an adult with adult money, I got McDonald's money now. I can do what I want. And so I'm just reconnecting to the things that used to really bring me a lot of joy. And whatever sustains, whatever becomes a ritual or a practice, I'll find that out later. But like this whole year has been just, let me just start. And my spring kind of started in June, which doesn't make sense, but that's the life. That's where I'm at right now. Yeah.
I will say, And we're talking about like where we're at right now, correct? I will say it's almost like a beautiful chaos because with my life, I'm all over the place all the time. And I'm a Libra. And if I get a little unbalanced, I get a little chaos. So ultimately, I feel like since I became a mom at 19 and I have 3 children, that's where my focus has been like my entire life. It's like being a mom. I was a wife. I'm divorced, but I was a wife. So now in a season of being where I'm in another city, I'm from Oklahoma. I'm in another city. I've been here for a year, but I don't know. I've been sleeping a lot. Like the kids are kind of in Oklahoma, back and forth between here and there. So it's like it's chaotic because in my brain I'm trying to figure out like where do I want my career to go? What are my kids going to do? Are they going to be here? Are they going to be there? Like how can I continue to be like such an active mom but still try to figure out what I need to do? What's going to happen when it comes to relationships, because I don't want to be single forever because I am 40 and it's kind of at that weird age where you just kind of don't know where your life is going. And so I feel like inside it's a little chaotic, but it's also beautiful because I do got McDonald's money. Hey! but so it's like I'm financially providing for everyone where maybe things were a little tighter before. And so it was more of a struggle, but now I'm kind of like feeling that freedom of now I have the ability to allow my children to do more, but I'm trying to figure out within that chaos of trying to please them, what do I need to do for me when it comes to that? And it beyond shopping, of course, like,
you look good.
Thank you, but beyond shopping. So yeah, I would just call it a beautiful chaos right now because there is beauty in the things that are happening in my life, but it's still very chaotic because mentally I'm unbalanced and I really don't know where I'm going. So yeah.
Figuring it out.
There we go.
I can kind of piggyback off of that, but change it a little bit. So I would say I'm kind of in a rediscovery and an introduction period of my life. Like her, I'm a wife and a mom. So I'm dealing with that introduction because I have to be this new person. But also I'm trying to not lose myself in those roles. I got to remember that I'm also Ashley, and Ashley was the mom before she was a mom or a wife. I'm working on it. But yeah, so I'm in that balance where I'm trying to figure out what's the new me, as well as trying to keep pieces of me that I loved before I was a mom and a wife, and trying to just balance it all and just figure out who this new me is.
I love that. In some way we're all on the journey, right? And sharing where I'm at, I feel like I love this analogy of using seasons, like the actual physical seasons, and thinking about that and the energy that comes with winter, spring, summer, and fall. And I find myself that I believe that I've spent maybe like the last year and a half or 2 years wintering, like in hibernation, in figuring out the things, in understanding where I'm at, what I'm feeling, what do I want in this season of life with where I'm at now, and what feels the most authentic to where I've arrived today versus the goals, dreams, and aspirations that I was supposed to want in the past. And it's been quite a journey to figure that out and go through the process of unlearning or making the choice and saying, this thing that I've been sold does not serve me any longer. So how do I make a different choice and decision that A, probably goes against the grain of what I was taught and told, B, is probably going to look radically different than what I envisioned for myself, and the dissonance between that and what the people in my life who loved me wanted for me, and the dissonance of that. And then 3, I may not even have a blueprint for, because I may have not even seen or experienced this as a part of personal relationships that I've witnessed in my own life. And so it's been like a very interesting journey of, I very often find myself saying, like, I am building the plane as I'm flying it. Like, I am building this new life and this new version of myself as I am in real time experiencing what it means to embody that and step into that fully. And so I think that I'm like May, right? Like it's probably still gonna be cold in the morning, but we gonna get to summer, and then by the nighttime we might also have a rainstorm. Like it, like really in the in betweens of not fully in spring, not fully in summer just yet. But I think for the first time in a long time, I see the path, and I'm really, really grateful about that. And one of the things that I just recognized through having this conversation. I know Precious personally, but even just with what you're saying, there is the difference between the perception of what people see and believe and think and interpret about your life and your world versus what's actually happening for you and how you are experiencing it. So yeah, I definitely see and recognize that those can be different, a little challenging, a little bit not there. And definitely making this conversational, so don't feel free, you have to wait for me to ask a question, but I love that we shared all these things.
Nice.
I love that. Kind of on this tip that I started to bring up along the lines of the ways in which we are redefining ourselves for ourselves, right? I'm curious as to what are the things that you feel like you are unlearning or redefining for yourself in this season of life, and what does that look like for you, or how has that experience or process been?
I can start. So I think the biggest thing I'm unlearning, and not to sound like I don't want to sound vain or anything, but I think that one of the biggest things that I dealt with was like self-esteem, like up till now. And it's almost like it's different. Like, granted, therapy helps, but I've just like, it's almost like a loving myself more because I've had kids and I just literally, all I cared about was making sure my daughter's esteem was fine, making sure that she saw her worth because of, we're traumaless, but we come from trauma, so coming from my childhood trauma of being a foster child, I dealt with a lot of, I would call it hatred from having foster parents. So I never like saw myself in a certain light. I always saw myself as, oh, you're too fat or you're too dark or you're things like that. So now it's like I look at myself and I'm just like, damn, girl, you did that makeup today. Like, you look good. It's just like I look at myself and I just see this different person. So I would say like that's one of the things that I've kind of learned, I guess, in this time that I've had to myself, because it is a time to myself because my kids aren't always with me. So yeah, I would say that, and that's not of the utmost importance, I guess, but it's just like so important to me because self-esteem kind of defines how others treat you as well, especially like men or like in any type of like relationship or even other women. It really defines how people respond to you and treat you. So it's just good to kind of be in a different space with that.
Yeah. I would definitely push back on that and saying that self-esteem is very important, right? And I love that you brought up that how you see yourself is also very indicative of how others treat you, right? Very often they hear what you are the person who first teaches other people how to treat you by the way in which you treat yourself. And so I would push back against that a little bit and say that it's not vain, or it's not. I think that the world has determined things being superficial because when people talk about self-esteem, it can very much so be how you like, what are you wearing? Like, are you keeping up with the Joneses? Like, do you got the fly as this, fly as that? And I think it's a lot more complex than that.
Yeah, and it's more so like what works for you too.
Yeah.
Because like I could be wearing this and you could be wearing that and we both are like bad today. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like there's no definition of it. It's really what works for you. It's the confidence that you have inside of you that I lacked before. And even though I tried, I bought all the clothes and it didn't change like how I felt. But now I still may try to buy all the clothes, but I do feel different. So yeah, that makes sense.
I love that. Thank you. Okay, I'll go.
We are meditating on the question.
It's okay.
What I was going to say is I had to unlearn people pleasing. I'm glad I'm not the only person. All right. I can tell by the size I'm not the only person. So I learned way back in therapy that people pleasing was one of my things, especially because of how my household was. I lived with my mom and I visit my dad's on the weekends, so I always tried to people please and fit in on both sides. And I took that into me growing up through high school, making friendships, relationships, and all that stuff.
For people that may be unfamiliar, can you give an example of what people pleasing looked like for you and how that's changed?
For me, people pleasing, let's say in friendship wise, I would always be the friend that people would come to me with their problems and I was the listener and nobody was listening to my problems. So I would hold in everything just to keep my friends and my family together, just to keep everybody happy. But I never checked in on myself. So that was the people pleasing that I was going through. I'm learning how to break those, and it's a process. It's a process. I've been working on it, I want to say, for a few years now, but I tell my husband all the time, there's power in my no.
No is a complete sentence.
No is a complete sentence. I tell him that all the time. I
get explanation for everything.
Right. I even started incorporating that into my job. So if my boss says something and it sounds out of pocket, I'll tell him no, tell her no. I'll just put boundaries up. So putting up boundaries for myself is something that I had to learn because I didn't have that growing up, because I was just like, make sure everybody else is good and then we worry about you later, but then I never worried about me later. So
I think we all resonated on that.
Yes, that was
a little bit.
Yes,
particularly as Black femmes and women, like we are literally raised to do that, right? Raised to be the peacekeepers, raised to be the glue, right?
The one everybody comes to.
Right. There are so many stereotypes of women, specifically Black women, just being the caregiver, right? And being within that archetype. And then the moment that you try and step outside of that, it becomes like, why are you switching up? Why are you changing? Like, but I always, but you used to, right? And so
you're the evil Black woman, or the
angry
black woman. Yeah, just because you set boundaries for yourself.
And I also have learned too with the people pleasing that it is a form of manipulation, because you're hoping that by shrinking yourself, the person will not withdraw their love. They'll do this for you. They'll do that for you. So it's both you're not serving yourself and you're not serving the other person. Like, we're both losing in it. And so you might as well be honest. And like, I had to even learn that in this kind of new season of dating. Then it's like, no, you didn't do that the way that I wanted you to. You didn't listen to me. And I'm going to say it in a loving, kind, caring way, of course. But these are my boundaries. And the people who will respect it and like, oh, yeah, you are so right. I really dropped the ball on that. And then also receiving boundaries and saying like, hey, that's not something that really like resonates with me. Can you not do that?
Right.
And like those kind of negotiations happen all the time. And that's how you build better relationship. Because one of the things that, as you all were talking, when you say, you know, Black women were always caregivers, we also suck at receiving care. I suck at receiving care. And you had to yell at me a few weeks ago. So I have Crohn's disease, which is an inflammatory bowel disease. I was diagnosed with it in April or May of 2024. And every year I have to get a colonoscopy just to check up on how the medication is going. And usually my mom comes with me because she's worried about me. She lives in Maryland, but I really wanted it done a certain day, and it was during the work week, and she just couldn't take off. So I asked Ashley if she could take me to the colonoscopy and bring me back home. But I was like, I don't want to inconvenience Ashley. Oh, I'll meet you there. I'll just get an Uber. And she was like, girl, no, I'm picking you up. I'm staying for the whole 2 hours and I'm taking you home. And I was like, okay. And so I really had to be like, wow, like my community, my village, my people, like they want to give me care, but I have to give them the opportunity. And oftentimes I would shut people out because I was disappointed. When I would ask for help, they didn't show up or they didn't give it in the way that I asked.
And you feel like such a burden, right? Like,
I feel
that's
like a
how
burden.
I feel like a burden on anybody for anything.
I feel like that requires a level of trust too. Like sometimes we don't trust people to have these
to hold it.
hold it for us.
Yeah.
Like I know if I do it, I'm gonna get it done.
Right.
So
That's
I'm
it.
I'm just gonna do it.
Right. That hyper independence comes
Right.
through, and I'm like, you know what?
Man.
I can do it. But literally, the hospital will be like, you cannot take a lift home.
Sit
You
down.
must find someone
Yeah.
to take you home.
Mhm.
And so I was like, damn. So great free friend, but I'm learning how to receive care. Even in dating, I'm like, ugh, I want to do everything, and my therapist had to be like, let that man take care of you. I said, okay.
It's so interesting, and on the same vein, I think my challenge is actually making the ask, right? Because I have learned, I was meditating on it this week, that my needs and desires are just as important as my offerings, right? I think in an effort to try and get folks to not abandon me or to continue relationship, I will shrink whatever my need is or my desires, so that way I don't have anything. So that way, if you don't do it or not, then I'm fine either way, right? And I'm realizing this season of life, like I actually do need people, and I do need love, care, and support. And a couple of months ago, I had gotten really, really sick, and I literally could not leave my house to go and get my medication. And I remember laying on the couch in tears, and I'm just like, I'm not going to feel better unless I get this medication, but I can't get up, and I don't think I can drive the 10 minutes to the pharmacy to go and get it myself. And I'm just like, well, what am I going to do? And I think it's so interesting, especially being a person who has been in long-term relationships, who was engaged at a point in time, and being in a space of like going from having that care and support to then having to reorient to doing it independently, but also knowing that you're not by yourself in that, was a bit of a whirlwind. And it was a bit challenging to recognize and understand that it's okay to ask. It's okay for other people to say, I can't, or I don't have the capacity or desire to do that, and to know how to move as a result of that. I think because of my disappointment, I would just not ask. And then I would have people in the same way that I would do for Precious be like, why didn't you say anything? Right? Because that's usually the phrase, or like, why didn't you ask me? I was available, and because I've been disappointed by folks, even recently with asking folks to do things, it kind of makes you want to retreat. And what I've learned is, instead of fully retreating back, I can learn, okay, this person is not right for this thing. I try very hard not to make my relationships transactional in that way, but I think it's also important and it's wise to understand what people you can rely on for what things, and knowing, as my Nana will always say, not everybody is an everybody friend. Not everybody is an everything and every person and every situation kind of person. And it's okay to understand and recognize that based off of the experiences that you've had in relationship with others and what they've shown you. Right? So that kind of really shifts me into kind of like our second full part of our conversation today, and talking about love, relationships, and boundaries. We've already talked a little bit about relationships. We've already talked a little bit about boundaries. So let's try and like pull this all together. To add flavor and context to this conversation, I think I ask these questions in terms of relationships between Black femmes and Black women and Black men. I do want to recognize maybe not everybody who's listening to this acknowledges or identifies that way or is affirmed by those particular identities. And that's a-okay, because us four here on this couch are talking about us from our experiences. And we'll use language in terms that feels good and meaningful for us. I just wanted to say that because I already hear the peoples being like, talking about some, well, this isn't how, and that's okay, baby. This is for us, and this is how we identify, right? And so I'm curious from y'all, what do Black women need from love? Right? What do we need from love, and how does that differ from what we're told we should want or sold we should want? Right? When I originally had this question in mind, I had thought about what had I just watched? I watched Beauty and the Beast. You know, when you find on the airplane, they just got movies on there, and I'm like, all right, cool, like sure, Beauty and the Beast. And then I watched the new Snow White, which was just no, don't worry about it. You don't got to. It's okay. And like it really made me reflect on the fact that the concept of like what love and a successful relationship that I recognized as a child came from all these fairy tales and movies.
Absolutely.
Right? And that one day you were going to be put in some dire straits or situation. A person who perceivingly loved or cared about you or wanted something from you, TBH, is going to show up, and they are going to fill in the gap, and they are going to save you, and then you're going to fall madly in love, and then you're going to ride off into the sunset, and then live into eternity until not, right? And right. And so I was just like, man, Disney lied.
They lied.
Big
I
time.
lied.
So what if you had to define your love and your care for yourself, what do you want or need from love? And how may that look different than 10, 20, 15 years ago?
I can go first.
Please.
I tell my husband all the time, I'm ready for my soft life.
Soft girl.
I am ready for my soft life. I have 3 children. My oldest is not from our marriage. And in that relationship, it was a hot mess. I lost myself. I didn't know who I was. It was just toxic. He was narcissistic. It was a lot. It was a lot going on. And so once that relationship ended, I became very independent, especially as a single mom with a child who has special needs. So that kind of threw an extra like sizzle on top of it. But I just, once my husband came, he allowed me to get a chance to breathe. I was able to exhale, and that's all I wanted. It was a partner that was going to allow me to breathe. And then if he needed to breathe, tag me in. I can help you breathe too. That's all that I was looking for when it came to looking for love for myself and love in the relationship for me and whoever my partner was going to be, which is not my husband. I just wanted that ability to just be able to count on my partner, count on the person I love, and just be there, and we just hold each other down. So
I'm trying to give language because sometimes we can have these experiences but not know the words to describe that. So when you say that, I hear about reliability, someone's ability to take something off of your plate to make the journey easier for you in some way.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Go ahead, girl.
Girl, I'm struggling with this question. I'm struggling. Yeah, as a recovering church girl,
I am too.
listen, my dad was a deacon. We was in the church. What I was taught about love was not, I think I had, my self-esteem was in the sewer when I was younger. And so I never actually connected or believed Disney fairy tales anyways. I was like, that's not for me. That won't be for me. I know that's what you're saying the ideal is, but that doesn't exist for me. When I was younger, I didn't even allow myself to dream about marriage, kids, family, any of that. And so as I was in high school and college, I dated for the first time in college and do anything before that. I think I was just trying to figure out, like, well, what does it mean to even just be seen? Like, that was the bare minimum. I was like, love is all the way up there. I'm just trying to be seen. And then I realized being seen isn't enough. That's like the bare minimum. And then even the love that I received in relationship wasn't enough because it was always through this lens of caregiving still. It was, you're seeing me as a partner that will give you everything, that will get you through medical school, will help you when you have, job loss. But it's like, what are you pouring into me? Like, it needs to be a reciprocal. It doesn't have to be tit for tat. It doesn't have to be transactional, but it does need to feel fulfilling. And I think I'm still figuring out the latter half of that question of like, what does true love feel like? I think I know what love feels like through my friends. And I'm like, I know it's possible with my girlfriends, with my they friends, with my mom and my sister. But it has been a struggle to kind of transfer that into my romantic dating life because probably reasons, but maybe daddy reasons. I don't know. And so after I had a pretty intense entanglement with someone a year ago, we are no longer a thing, but that situation taught me a lot about how to also see the softness in men as well, or male embodied people or AMAB folk, and what does it mean to just be honest, to be like, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm carrying. You know, I carry some of it, I carry most of it. Like, what are things that you can at least make space for, and then we can do it together. So really the negotiation is what I'm moving through with the folks that I'm talking to. And it's actually been a really nice journey to just have really open and honest conversations on what healthy love looks like.
Right.
And knowing that no one's ever truly healed. Like, you are healing forever until you die. And so, I'm still figuring out what that concept of, I guess, love when it's coupled with romance or like sexual or sensual relationship. But like, my girlfriends, we tight. And I also understand, like, my friendship breakups will hurt me so bad. I've had to go through those too. But it's like, I'm glad I went through them because I know what love feels like. And I know it's possible in other areas of my life too. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing for you is reciprocity, making space for softness on all accounts. How can we share the load? And then having deep and honest conversations about vulnerability, about desire. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's it.
All right, I guess it's my turn.
Give it to us.
Well, I can pretty much feel both sides of what y'all are saying and kind of roping into myself. I think for me, with trying to just, what does love look like for me? I came from, I was a foster kid, and I bounced around a lot as a child, and I really didn't get love until I was in my teenage years when I actually had like a dad at that time. And so that's kind of, with him, is kind of where I find it was like love. So I kind of like took that and associated with a man per se. Like, it's like I had mommy issues, I had daddy issues, but I found someone who loved me. And I just took that, and that became like my love. Was like, I love my dad like so much. And so then, of course, growing up and getting into teenage years and having boyfriends and things like that, I felt like I just need love from a man, from whatever way. And so I think that what I personally constantly still to this day do, and I don't know how to stop, is I pour into who I'm into. Like, no matter, it's just like, it don't matter what they're giving to me. I pour into them in so many ways. And y'all, don't be looking at me crazy.
No.
So I pour into. So anyways, all that to say is I'm still trying to learn how to receive what I deserve. Because I've been married, and I mean, I've worked 3 jobs in a marriage. I've handled everything, all the bills, and I have bill pay anxiety now because I'm just tired of doing everything. To where it's just like I get anxious when I got to pay a bill. Like, why am I like that? Like, why am I, why do I feel these types of ways when I had a husband for a long time? But now without having that husband and going into the dating world, now I try to look at what is it that I want? How is it that I want to be loved? And I still wrap that into a person. Like, I still will fall for one person instead of allowing myself to date, have a good time, or things like that. I still wrap myself into one person, and I just want everything from that one person. But what I'm still trying to learn is, can I get that from that one person? Like, is that? And my therapist asked me last week, if somebody came into your life and tried to give you every bit of that love that you want, because I need affection, I need to be hugged all the time, I need affirmation, I want some gifts, like all those things that I'm needing. I want to be soft. I don't want to pay no bill. Not saying I don't want to work, because I will work. I'll give you some of that money too, because I just don't want to look at a bill. I just want to have security in knowing that the bills are paid, whether it needed some of my money or not. We got food. Everything is taken care of without me having to take care of it. And my therapist was like, would you even, like, allow that? Like, would you? And I really have to ask myself that, and that was just last week's conversation. I still ask myself that, like, would you allow that? Like, I don't know, because I want it. I want all of that. This stuff Ashley talking about, I'm like, girl, that just sounds so nice. Right. But I gotta allow it, and I'm still trying to find that means of allowing myself to just be loved, and it may not come from. It may not come from the person that I think it's gonna come from. Is what I'm trying to say. So
what I'm hearing you say is security. What love looks like is deep care. It looks like affection for you. Yeah. I do this. I see you. Okay. And y'all have brought up so many things, like from what Precious is saying is that my friends are my first and my best lovers. I say that all the time. I was just like, man, whoever come in is going to have a real high bar because my homies love on me so well. And it has shown me the possibility and the range of love and what people will do for love when they love you and care about you. Right. I have a friend who's on the road right now as we speak to be like, yeah, I missed y'all, so I'm gonna come see you. I'm gonna be there at 4:00. All right, girl, cool. I love you. I'll see you then. Drive safe, And then I also hear from you is kind of like this pendulum swing, right? When you go from having to be in the space of having to do all the things to then wanting to be very soft and not do any of the things and then trying to figure out like where does it settle in the middle of those two things, because that's where life is, right? Like I definitely understand when you go from extreme to extreme because it can sometimes feel like, well, I was just at this extreme. I know I don't want this. So what's the exact opposite of that? Exactly. And so it can be really, really challenging in that. And I love that you asked the question, is it possible to get all these things from one person? Because jump scare. I'm polyamorous. And so and like for those that may be unfamiliar with that word, non-monogamy is the umbrella term for any relationship that is not exclusively monogamous, meaning between one person and another person. Under the umbrella of non-monogamy, there's a lot of different terms, but I identify as polyamorous, which literally translates as being many loves. And so I have multiple deep, committed, intimate relationships. Some that are sexual, some that are not, some that are romantic, some that are not, some that are like we date for fun and just go out and have a good time and things of that nature. And it is like something, I've been non-monogamous and I've been in long-term committed relationships. I was almost married and non-monogamous. And this is the first time where I feel like I can engage in that authentically. And I can have relationships with folks and be like, this is what I love and I adore and I really like in the ways in which we connect. And I can accept the fact that you may not have capacity to do these other things. And that is okay because my cup is being filled from other folks in that way. And I think it's really important because what I recognized when I was engaged is I wanted all the things from that one person. I wanted you to be my provider. I wanted you to be my protector. I wanted you to, plan the dates and pay the bills and all of those things. And I recognized and acknowledged that it was too much. It was just too much to place on that one person in that relationship. And it wasn't for lack of desire, but it was because of lack of capacity. And recognizing that those two things are different. People can want to do that for you or want to be that for you, but do they actually have the capacity, the bandwidth to follow through with that and to do the thing? And so instead of fighting against that, when I recognize that everybody has very dynamic capacity, I mean, even moment to moment and day to day, what can it mean and look like to love and allow people to love you where they are and care for you where they are? Now, I will say in full transparency, it does sometimes feel for me that I'm kind of like finagling together the love and the care that I want. And there are still things that I do desire that I don't have access to right now in this season of life. And I do recognize that I do feel the most cared for and fulfilled in this season of life than I have in previous relationships. So I'm not saying this for everybody, and I'm not trying to push no polyamorous agenda, because I really feel like sometimes people be like, well, you just trying to make everybody. No, I'm not, because I recognize it's not for everybody, and not everybody has the desire or capacity to do that. Ethically also. So I definitely wanted to offer that as like an alternative perspective or way of being, because it's an option. It's a choice. And I think sometimes folks don't know what they don't know in that regard. Oh, you scared me. You got up and I was like, you stretching your legs? You okay. I'm cracking up.
Brief intermission.
So, like we into it. We in the thick of it. I'm curious to hear what are y'all reflecting on? Do we need to transition now, or should I save this question? Okay, we good. Okay, so I'm all right. I'm gonna do one more question and then I'm gonna transition to that one. Or should I transition to that one and
One more question. Come on, we got it.
all right. Oh wow.
Wow, wowzers. Okay. Quick fire.
Nope, I'm gonna ask this question, then we're gonna transition. Okay. So seeing as that we have gotten so knee deep and thick into this conversation so far, I'm curious, because some of us, as we know, like know each other, some of us are strangers. What is something that you are learning or reflecting in real time in this conversation, or reaffirming in real time as we've had this conversation? What is coming up for you? That's a good one. I know that was.
It is.
I'm so
It's a
sorry.
good one.
Damn, you didn't prepare me for this one.
I think for me, what's coming up is my current, I don't want to call it like a situationship, but my current, like where my heart is right now. Yeah, and just kind of reflecting on that situation. It's coming up a little. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Ashley and I have talked about polyamory and non-monogamy, and I think while I'm not necessarily there, I am allowing myself to date, and I guess that's a version of polyamory. It's like polyamory with a end date, but I'm allowing myself to just enjoy myself. And I think at the beginning of this year, I didn't want to, because I thought, well, that's not how you're supposed to. Because every time I dated, it was, oh, this one person, okay, we're in a relationship, boom, done. But I didn't allow myself to test the waters and really have deep conversation. I'm also, dating seriously someone right now while still dating others that I know won't progress to relationship, but I'm enjoying their company. And I said, like, I need us to take this like molasses, slow.
So I do want to,
like the lazy river.
how you get there, like, cause I'm where you were before. I can do one at a time.
I mean, I just started.
Be all in.
I just started. I'm not an expert. I just got there.
Okay.
Building
and flying. Building and flying. I got you.
Yeah. It was one of those things where we both had an honest conversation about, we have jumped into relationships too quickly, and we want to try something different. And so what does different look like? We are literally creating that right now. And so I said, I don't have an end date. It's not like, I'm going to do the 3-month rule or the 5-month rule. It's more of, we check in with each other. How are you feeling? What's this coming up? When something that's triggering or traumatizing comes up, well, what was that? Where'd that come from? Let's talk about it. And so it depends on the person. It depends on the circumstance.
Oh, okay.
I mean, and also I think it also depends on the energy that you're exuding. I used to think that, I mean, it's a both and, like, people be crazy, people be wild, but also like how I'm stepping into this season of life is just a little bit more knowledgeable, more mature. I feel a little bit more sure about myself. And I think because of that, I'm attracting more sure of themselves, mature, communicative people. So like If you know you don't have the capacity to be my man, but you want to take me out on dates sometimes, and you make that clear from the front, no problem. I'll also let you know you ain't the only one on the roster. That's okay. And so I'm like, I don't know how long this is gonna last, but I'm having a good time while it happens, because because the thing is, I wasn't taught how to date. As a church girl, I don't think anyone has been taught how to date, or maybe some people, but I wasn't taught how to properly date, how to properly vet, how to ask questions, get to know people,
Make
and
your
so
desires known.
Yeah, so I'm figuring it out. So as you were talking about it, I mean, I've been like, is poly my thing? Maybe it's not. I'm kind of like dipping my toe in and dipping it out. And me and this person are trying to figure out if poly could potentially be something we'd want to do. But we haven't gotten there yet. It's just a long conversation. And I don't
There's so
enjoy.
many dynamics of poly as well. Tapping into because I've been down to poly. I spent about 3 hours on Poly Talk and Poly Instagram.
Listen, as soon as I'm sure the phones are picking it up, and you'll see something later.
I've been down the line, okay? Because when I tell you every man I meet that's where they headed, that's what they want, and I'm to the point now where let me see what y'all talking about and what and there's so many different.
There's no one.
There's like so many different.
The part about it is like I'm learning. There are ways that you have seen it done, and those ways were all built from scratch. There is no singular way to do it right. Where I feel like as monogamy is like very much so like, yep, you get in a relationship with this one person, now you're with this one person. If you do anything outside of this one person, then you violated like the relational agreement.
We see so many examples of monogamy. We don't necessarily see examples of non-monogamy or poly, or even the right. Especially how, because my spiritual mentor, I went through this shroom experience, and the messages I was getting was just like lean into divine feminine, lean into like womanhood. I was like, what does this mean? And I was telling them like, maybe I have to reimagine what relationships look like and what family structure could look like. And I told them like, ideally I would love it if all my friends were in the same state, ideally on the same block.
Man, who you telling?
Okay, all of us just living together, we're helping raise each other's kids, we're going out to brunch, and like our men are there. Cool, but it's a matriarchal society. I was like, that's what I want. And they were like, that's literally how it used to be in Africa, though. That's that's the tradition. And so when people have this view of like harems and that it's like one man and like, 10 wives, it's making it seem like they're not the ones that are actually the backbone of the village or the community isn't true. And so I said, well, I don't know how exactly I'm going to make that work, but yeah, I want my girlfriends, my squirrel friend, my they friends to be around. We support each other. And even though, I right now identify as kind of like hetero flexible, I still want my man there. It's just that I don't want it to be where we are the only people in each other's lives. I also want my man to have their friends, and then they friends, and like have their community. And so I just see this beautiful intergalactic network of people, and trying to build that brick by brick is what I'm going through right now.
And I feel like it's something that's happening in conversation with each other, because you really are developing it in real time. Like there is no wrong way to do it unless you're being dishonest with yourself and with others. And I truly and wholeheartedly believe that it is so important and powerful to be able to have real and honest conversations with yourself. I'm also a really big fan of saying, this is my rough cut first draft thought. And I've had these conversations where it very much so has been like, all right, so I don't really know if I got all the words for this yet, but this is what I'm feeling. This is what I'm thinking. This is kind of where I'm at. And yeah. And then I allow them to respond, and allowing myself to have the time and the capacity to make choices and decisions based off of that. I think one of the things that I'm realizing as we're having this conversation is just how expansive connection can be, right? We only got through like 2 questions, and it's so interesting to think about how when we have these conversations around relationship, I knew kind of growing up that marriage was not forever, because I saw my parents get divorced. I saw my dad remarry and then get divorced again, and date people and things of that nature. And so like I knew that wasn't necessarily the be all end all. And so it's really, really interesting to see this expansiveness. And Ashley, I also want to bring in your truth and lived reality that you do have this thing and you love it and it feels great for you. And so I'm curious, you know, what does expansiveness look like in your relationship? Another jump scare. I'm bi. Hell yeah. You want to pause here?